Yo, what's good? Words with Friends podcast is back. I go by the name of Jabari. And for those that don't know, I have a special announcement for all of you internets. You can support the Words with Friends podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/Jabari. And you can give a tip. If you're getting knowledge from this, if you like it, if this starts off your week right, then you can send $1 tip so we can keep the podcast going. We can keep having amazing guests on it, and we can keep the knowledge flowing. Go to patreon.com/Jabari, and you can give $1 tip to the Words with Friends podcast. We do 4 a month, so that is as little as $4 a month, which is cheaper than a sandwich, which is cheaper than a coffee, which is cheaper than, I don't know, a breath of fresh air in some places.
2 metro rides.
Yeah, 2 metro rides if you're in New York, man. But with that being said, without further ado, I have the lovely Jasmine Solano here. Woo!
We gotta pretend like we got an audience.
Audience. The audience right here is just this painting on the wall.
The audience is like,
What's up? You are in Los Angeles, California.
yeah, man, I love it here.
Yeah, I see you here a lot. I see you here more than I see you in New York.
Well, that's because you live here now.
Yeah.
And we make a point to see each other because I'm in town. You know?
Yeah.
But LA, as soon as I touch down in LA, my brain just kind of opens up. The stress goes away a little bit, and I still get the same amount of work done. I'm just a little happier because the sun is shining and the weather's good, and I think I'm a little bit more of a hippie nature person than most people, so it affects me greatly. Yeah.
So let these people know, for those that don't, let them know what you do. What is your profession? What do you like to spend your time earning a living doing?
Right. So I'm a DJ, artist, producer of certain kinds. And now I've turned into like my own booking agency.
Yes, I want to talk about that a lot.
I'm one half of Electric Punnany, which I run with Melo-X. So we're actually on tour right now, which is why we're in LA. And what else do I do? I would say that I'm like a world traveling music culture enthusiast.
Nice. I like that you are not limited to just being a DJ or just being an artist or and you didn't even mention you also host the MTV Iggy.
Yes, I have an MTV World mini-series out called Scratch the Surface with MTV Iggy, and you gotta go watch that.
Yes, I like it. I watched the first one. Wait, I forget what country
Singapore?
You're in. Singapore, yeah. So the woman is world renowned, folks. Travels all around the globe, doing amazing things. Let's start with what got you into music. What did you you grew up in Philly and heavy musical scene there, definitely. Was it your parents or was it just your environment?
I think there were 2 parts to me getting into music. The first was my mom, who strictly raised me on classic soul. Was singing James Brown on my little Fisher Price by age 5. Classic soul is her number 1 priority in life. So Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, Sam and Dave, Wilson Pickett, these are all in Motown. Like, I just remember being raised on all that. So I think that was like a definitive structuring to my musical taste. And then when I got into my teens, like 14, 15, I started to really become like a backpacker, a DJ, turntablist fan. And also in Philly at that time, the neo soul movement was really strong. This is like the early 2000s.
Flow Tree,
Music Soul Child, Jill Scott, The Roots. So I was always going to the TLA or the Electric Factory, seeing shows when I was underage. And I was also like sneaking into a lot of the clubs underage, like Egypt on the waterfront when it was still there.
Now, did your parents allow this? Because, no? Okay.
I had to sneak a lot of the music stuff because, my mom was so big on education, which rightfully so, but I personally just wanted to do nothing but like music and tennis. That was really everything. So after school, I was really cool with the band teacher. I never played in band, but he would let me use the band room after school, and I would get my friend who was a drummer and my friend who was a beatboxer, and we would just jam for a couple hours and just come up with like medleys, and then we would go perform those at open mics. And I was also in like the breakdancing club and like a hip hop dance squad, and I just like lived and breathed music so heavy, and I was doing a lot of hip hop activism at like 16, 17 years old, and so I think those two phases in my life set the tone.
Started off early. That reminds me of myself too. I was in high school, and I was
You put on events, like little hip hop activist events.
Nah. I mean, I really, me, I was rapping at first. Yeah,
see, I knew you were gonna rap early. You were like, check. 1, 2.
Man, though for those that know, it's still out there. It's still living on the internet, and it's terrible. But as soon as I figured out I wasn't a rapper, then I was like a hype man turned manager. And so I was like managing artists in my school, and at like 14, 15. And shout out to DJ Steph Floss from Ohio.
Yeah, love Steph Floss.
So funny story with Steph. I used to like carry his crates like into the clubs in Columbus. He was a student at Ohio State, and I was in high school there. I had moved from New York, and I was just like following him around everywhere, sneaking into like shows that he would be DJing with Jewels and like Mike Jones and all these people,
little
and I would try to like sneak my artists in there. And man, I literally had to carry all of Steph's crates. Like he had
heavy.
So many.
People don't
records.
recognize how heavy.
It's so heavy.
Vinyl
It was vinyl is heavy, and and he would have like 5-6 things packed in his like little truck, and I would just go down there with my busted Plymouth Acclaim to wherever he was at, and my mom just was like, I would tell her that I'm with Steph Floss. She was like, who is that? And like she just was kind of cool with it, but I think that she knew that I wanted to be in entertainment, so she was like, at least like he's working a job and he's doing this, he's not like getting in trouble in the streets, so I'm fine with it. So I mean, I think that when you have the support of your parents and family, that helps a lot. Did you have that support from your sort of like family home structure? Not for the stuff that you were sneaking into, obviously.
Right. I think I did. When I was in 4th grade, I performed Shoop. I was 9. I remember getting my friends together. I was like, Danielle, you're going to rap this. Marcus, you're going to rap the guy's part. And we got in front of our grade school, which, Carnell Elementary School, which was 1st through 8th grade, which I don't know why in hell that goes on, because I was always walking by like elementary teenagers that were smoking cigarettes, and I'm like 5 years old, but I remember being on that stage, and I remember my mom supporting that and always supporting like me performing, and always kind of knowing that I had this little performer bug, and then throughout my life, my mom was always, and my dad, always been like, you gotta go for it. You gotta go for what you love. You gotta be a good person. Those were like the two big things. Yeah. And my dad, who is one of the most interesting people that I've ever met, and I look up to pretty highly. He's got a generosity and a work ethic that's pretty unmatched. So it's interesting because I feel his intensity, like his intense spirit in everything I do. I think you know me by now. I think people that really sit down and we have like serious talks, they're like, whoa, you're kind of deep with it.
Yeah, for sure. In a good way, bro.
In a good
way.
Like
whenever we talk, I leave with something. It's not like
me
I'm just
too.
like, what is this girl talking about?
You make me feel less crazy because like we both are pretty much workaholics, pretty driven, but we stay on the side of integrity. And it's funny because it's like, if you were just a raging asshole, I feel like you would just soar because you wouldn't give a shit. But then your life would be empty, and who knows what kind of karma would come back to you.
Yeah, for sure. I think yeah, you see that. I mean, there's a. Do you watch that HBO show Silicon Valley?
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it was really good.
So the second episode, they talk about.
Don't give too much away.
Yeah, well, I'll just say there's a theme that like the guy is saying to the tech startup founder, like, you need to be an asshole. Like, you have to be an asshole to succeed, right? And it's like, I get where that comes from, but I don't think you have to be an asshole to succeed. I really think that to succeed, you know, you can be an asshole in it, and because within success, there's a level of like having to essentially shed your feelings from situations, right? And like, you know, you have to like be okay with cutting somebody off, or be okay with, you know, like being like, well, this person that I hired didn't get the job done, and like, even though this may be my friend, or this, you know, this person
it's
is
not
like
personal, it's business.
Exactly. You know, you have to understand that, exactly what you just said. It's not personal, it's business. But at the same time, there's ways to do things and not be a dick about it, I think.
Right.
And you know, I don't know. I think that how I'm going about business and doing things, I just think that I think we're living in a new time when like, you know, you can be a successful company that like cares, you know what I mean? Or you can be a successful entity that, you know, cares about the consumer or cares about your employees, and like everybody, it's not all about the bottom line, but the bottom line is, you know, is a factor, and obviously that's like how any business flourishes. You need to like profit, you need to, you know, be growing and things like that. But I think that this time that we're in right now is like, you know, you can care about people and make money at the same time.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think for people like us that run our own business, and our business is our brand, which is ourselves, it gets a little trickier because you have to be able to sell yourself and be yourself at the same time. And I don't think that is for everyone. I think that it's easier to sell yourself when you're always just being yourself. You know, whereas in today's age, it's easy to create an image or a byproduct of what, you know, you want yourself to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever feel like, you know, you are, you know, when do you turn off? When do you turn it off? Or like, do you ever feel like you're selling yourself too much? Because like you said, you know, you're a DJ. You have to get these gigs. You have to, you know, market yourself. You have to be on Instagram. You have to be on Twitter. You have to be booking all of these things. It's like, does it ever feel like overwhelming for you?
It feels overwhelming because I am the manager, the booking agent, the accountant, the artist, the marketing department. Like I am everything. And so the workload feels overwhelming. But I have no problem talking about what I think, you know, and what I like. And I'm pretty proud of who I've become, you know. And it's not easy to take an unconventional path when you know, are young. And, you know, there are levels that I still want to reach, of course. But I think from what I've seen just in different people who have either chosen an unconventional path or not, I'm pretty proud that I've decided to go ham, you know, because I don't want to be 50 and be like, damn, in my 20s, like I should have, I kind of wanted to, but I didn't, you know. I think that is like my biggest fear. So I actually, you know, I'm okay with selling myself because I'm proud of what I'm selling. Like if I wasn't, it'd be a whole different story, you know?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's real. It's something that...
you know, it's me. I'm obsessed with this shit.
Yeah. I know. So, okay, so, you know, when you were... I guess, what was it like, you know, when you were like, you know what, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to, you know, not go after a real job. Like, did you ever have a plan B, fallback plan, you know, from being an artist, a DJ, all this stuff?
So when I was in college, which was Emerson College in Boston, started DJing on the radio when I was 17. By my final year, they gave me my own show. Because I'm like, listen, I DJed hip hop for 3 years. I'm like, if y'all want me to do like a funk, soul, R&B, slow jam show, please let me know, because that's kind of what I want to do. and they gave me my own show, and it really blew up. I won a couple awards for it and whatever. Now, when I moved to New York after college, I actually worked at a small production company for 2 years, and that's where it was just me and like the boss. And
What was the name of this company?
Trigger Happy.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, but so we I've learned so much because it was just me and him, and he's like, you do this and just do it, you know. And I basically learned how to run a company, how a production company works. I was able to pretty much train under the VP of videos, who had done like Biggie's videos in the 90s. So I learned how to produce music videos, and I started to produce a couple. One of them was Vashti's CRS video, the little Kanye little friend.
With the kids?
Yeah, with the kids, which was so much fun. And but what was happening was I was working from like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., coming home, taking a nap, going out, you know, DJing or just hosting or just out, you know. And after 2 years, I'm like, wow, what if I put all the energy that I put into this company, into my brand? Like, what would happen? And as soon as I made that decision, like, within 3 months, I was on a national tour with Ninja Sonic. I got booked for all the MySpace shows in the summertime. You know, things just started to happen. And since then, I've kind of never looked back. Yeah,
wow. What do you think was your sort of biggest accomplishment to date, you know, or something that, you're most proud of? Because you've done a lot.
I think my MTV Iggy shows. I think Scratch the Surface is my most favorite body of work because it's
also one of the most recent. And a lot of times with creative people, it's like the most recent thing is what you're sort of like focused on and most proud of.
There's like other moments, but like even some moments back in Sway, in the parties at Sway, I remember looking up at an Electric Punnany party and just every single person out of their mind, just wild, so hype. And like I remember just feeling like I was like levitating. You know, there are definitely moments, but this MTV show is just, it just explains everything about me. It explains my traveling bug, my anthropology bug, like the fact that I DJ around the world, some of the artists that I'm really into, and I love finding out like why artists are how they are. You know, it just combines all of that, and I feel like it's the best showcase of who I am.
Yeah, I think you know, I love the travel aspect of it too, and I love that your job allows you to. I mean, it's like traveling comes with the territory, you know. So like, what are some of the things that you learn on your travels?
Well, it's funny because before I was DJing and traveling, I did a semester at sea program. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They did a Real World on
Yeah.
So for like 4 months.
Hold on, that thing was not like, I thought that was Real World. Like that was
No.
So that was a program.
That's a program that's been going on for like 30 years. Yeah.
Oh wow. Damn. You see what television does?
I know. I mean, not many people know about it, but so for 4 months we lived on a ship.
Okay.
And we traveled to like 10 different countries around the world. Wow. And you take classes on the ship while you're sailing to the next country.
So this was while you were in college? You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like an abroad program?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're just getting more bang for your buck.
Yes, because I included it in the gen eds and all this other stuff. So, man, I was doing all kinds of crazy shit. I was learning feng shui like heavy in college. I was going to get like a certificate in feng shui. Anyway, sorry, you made me think of that. So, and you know what you learned on the ship, you learned about each country heavy before you got there, which is like the best way to travel. Yeah, so you're not an ignorant person coming in there. We learned about like the government, the history, the food, everything. And one of the main things I studied was like music and culture in each country. And so I would like go to the local record shop or local whatever and get all the music and come back and make a whole like report on it. And I was like 19 or 20 years old or something like that. Yeah. So, you know, traveling and understanding people and music has always been like one of the major things in my life that fascinates me. Yeah. So I guess the transition into doing that while DJing just kind of came naturally.
Yeah. What were some of the favorite places that you have been?
In life?
Yeah, in life, yeah.
Well, I would say Indonesia is the first and foremost because my dad is from there.
Okay.
So the first time I went there, we just met like 50 people that were like family. Like they just were at the airport, you know.
Yeah.
And one of my, she's kind of like a cousin slash aunt or whatever, but she took a 17-hour bus to get to see us. And it was like, she was probably in her 70s or something.
Wow.
And it's like, ain't no thing.
Yeah.
You know? And Bali. Bali is a magical place.
You know, you're like the third or fourth person that has told me about Bali over the past few months. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta go there.
Yeah.
What's so good about it?
The land.
Yeah.
The land, the history, and the people, you know? Like, the land is just exquisite, the way Hawaii is. You know, it's like that Southeast Pacific vibe. So even like areas in the Philippines, Hawaii, Thailand, like it's just Fiji, you know, it's it's just a magical part of the world.
Yeah.
But I also really like Tokyo and Stockholm, and Berlin was a trip.
Yeah. My producer on my next film is he just came back from Berlin. He was telling me about it. So yeah, so many places to go. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know.
It's just like sometimes I just want to like spin a globe and be like, here. But I mean, you don't really need
You
this
should.
anymore. You can just pull up Google Maps. You don't have to actually spin a globe.
TripAdvisor is like
yeah. But so you know, you're out here and you're on this Electric Punnany tour, and you know, when I first came in, you're getting your details for your photo shoot tomorrow in order, and you know, we've talked about this before. You just doing everything and booking this Electric Punnany tour and just like handling everything yourself. How do you sort of manage this, you know, because a lot of people, like, you know, we're talking about, it is overwhelming, but you have to push through it, you have to get it done. How are you the manager, the booking agent, all of this stuff, you know, because I'm sure so many people are looking at you and they think that there's a big team behind you and you know, how is she doing all of this and all of that stuff, but when you really hear about the real deal, nitty gritty, what's going on, it's like, this is all Jasmine. So
yeah. You know, managing myself came out of necessity. I had a manager for a long time, and then when we weren't working together anymore, I had to manage myself. And managing myself taught me a lot about myself, you know. It pulled a lot out of me that I didn't recognize I could necessarily do. I've always had a background in like business and operational management, and I enjoy that stuff a lot. But when you add your own desire behind that, like you're doing it for you, because you want it that bad, whoa, like that just turned into a crazy formula. And you know, I produced those 3 episodes actually, like with the help of a senior producer at MTV. But you know, like I hired the videographers in each country, and you know, like I produced the shows. I'm like, this is the narratives, you know. And then I booked and produced Electric Punnany's world tour last year, which was 28 days. So like the sponsorship, working with 9 promoters around the world, the travel agent, booking agent, the budget handler. Yeah, it's funny what will come out of doing things out of necessity, you know.
But like you said, you know, it's out of necessity. It's like you have to. That's how I started like editing films, right? Like when I was in college, I was just waiting on my boy to. I was like, yo, man, all right, we got to shoot this interview. Okay, you edit it, you get it back to me, and it would be like, you know, at first it was fast, and then it would turn into like a week, and then it'd be like, I need to get the interview right when I did it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I gotta learn this. I gotta go and, you know, illegally download this book on Final Cut. And like go to I was in the school library printing out this like illegally downloaded 300-page book. I printed a 300-page book on how to like use Final Cut, and people were looking at me like I was crazy in the library just waiting for 300 pages to print. Like It was nuts, but
yeah, I hope you used that double-sided feature.
Nah, I don't think I did. I think I just let that joint run one side.
Killing like 10 trees
Yeah,
at
oh
one
man,
time.
I know,
It's all
I know,
good. It's all good.
man. But yeah, it was like, out of necessity that, and now so many things in my career are like that. Just out of necessity, you have to do it on your own, But my friend Ben from Splash was saying that if you want things done fast, he said this on a previous podcast. He was like, if you want things done fast, you do it alone. But if you want to scale and you want to do things big, then you have to have a team.
Absolutely. I'm not opposed to a team at all.
It has to be the right team.
It just has to be the right team.
Yeah.
And if I can get it done, and I can get it done well, you got to bring something to the table. Because like you got to be better than me. You got to have more connections, And I'm looking forward to that team, you know. And I do have a couple people that help me out with certain things, and like they're incredible, But again, I think I have a weird thing going on where like half of my brain loves business and always thought I would run a company, and then there's the other brain that wants to like choreograph and write songs and like produce mixes, and it's like hard trying to balance both sides.
Yeah. Do you ever I guess what do you do to sort of like stay creative and just stay in a zone of that there's so many things that you have to sort of you have to make sure your tour artwork looks good, that everything like do you have any sort of exercises or things that you do to sort of remain in a creative state and not get in like a funk?
I think well, there's two things with that. I think being like kind of OCD, I'm not like technically OCD, but I think I'm OCD.
Yeah.
I'm so OCD with aesthetics. I'm affected by like aesthetics. Like, again, that's even part of like feng shui. What I used to study feng shui. Like, if a room is not set up in the most zen way, if artwork isn't like done like super pro and original, I just get like start twitching. That's in my blood for some reason.
Yeah.
So that helps me stay on point with creative work. Now my own creativity, like writing, producing, stuff like that, like I'm starting to learn that like I need to be in the sun.
Yeah, come on, man. I've been trying to get you out here. Just come on.
Like New York, I'll just be in front of that computer for 14 hours making shit happen. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even look outside. Again, nature is a big thing for me. It relaxes me. And when you're relaxed, you can be pretty creative. I know that a lot of amazing art comes out of struggle and pain, and I get that. But I also think the brain works well when you are happy and relaxed,
Yeah.
So, LA.
There's this TED Talk with this kid. I forget. It's like this little kid. And he's talking about, oh man, I'll put it in the
you
show
gotta send
notes.
It to me.
But he's talking about, like, essentially what people need to, I don't know if it's to be creative or to live or whatever, but he just makes all these points. Really smart, young kid, and has amazing parents who just kind of, I think he might be homeschooled, and they kind of just let his creativity run free and just really, don't limit this kid. And anyway, he was, one of the things
is
he
just from Brooklyn? Because I had a crazy conversation with like a 9-year-old.
No, he's
time.
not from.
Okay.
No, he's not from Brooklyn.
Still trying to find this kid.
But yeah, one of the like pillars of this sort of like view that he has is how humans need to really just be in nature, and that's a huge aspect that I think we're losing with being on the computer all day, having all this tech on us all day, and just like these Wi-Fi signals just all around us. It's like we forget to go out into nature and be in the elements and in the sun and in the in the woods and all this type of stuff. I mean, that's a huge, like, when you think about it just from a level of we're essentially visiting this planet, right? Like, we have a few years here, we're visiting it, and really what we need to be doing is ensuring that it is able to live on for like the next generation.
Well, first of all, kudos for having that type of mindset, because I agree, but a lot of people haven't even gotten to that thought yet. You know, it's a very like me, I centric world, especially now with technology. So, well, but then again, like there's huge movements into the preservation of energy and like and recycling and things that will allow all the shit that we conjure up to be useful and not be waste. And I mean, damn, I mean, we could get into this.
I mean, I think that the technology should enhance that. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of times I talk on the podcast about, you know, technology should enhance, you know, life, but it's literally all aspects of life. It shouldn't take away from, like, it should be able to enhance this need for nature that we have. You know what I mean? And I think that, like,
it may, with like a little hologram, it'll be like you press a button, you're like, I want to be in Hawaii, and then like the fucking you know, the rays come up around you. And
I mean, but even so for like, let's say like on a basic level, like something like, you know, an Instagram photo, right? Somebody you follow that you really, you know, are you look up to, you trust or whatever, but you see that person in nature. You know what I mean? And now it's like if I go to the woods and I have some sort of like, mind you, I'm not even a big like woods guy or anything like that, but if I just go and I travel and if I share that experience with somebody, then it now has it has like an ability to be outside of just me and my experience. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I think of when I'm sharing things, and when I'm like, you know, it's a big reason why I don't ever post anything negative. So like I won't share anything. Like, I won't say I don't like something on social media, or like,
because it just spreads that.
Yeah, because like why say that, right? Like I'd rather only talk about things that are positive, that, you know, because these are like vibrations that are going out into the world.
I mean, listen, you talking to a major hippie right now.
You know,
so I didn't even know that you, like, you know, thought about things like this. Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
Like I'm right there with you.
It's real. I mean, I just think that, you know, so it's like something as simple as, you know, travel. It's like, you know, if you can get other people to want to step outside their comfort zone just through, you know, and it's like 10 years ago we weren't able to do that. We weren't able to, like, you know, share what we were, the positive things that we were doing with everybody, and have that influence somebody else in a positive manner. So it's like, I think that though people forget that you know, you have that potential and ability. People just think, oh, this is funny, let me just share this. It's like somebody, like a fight compilation on World Star or something. Let me share this. You know what I mean? And it's like, think about that, man. Think about the vibes that you're putting out by sharing, like, other people like getting beat up, or like somebody being made fun of, or, you know, I just challenge people to really think about that stuff when they do share it, because it's just so much bigger than like your entertainment and like you having a laugh right there. It's like that vibe is just being sent out, and, you know, I mean, I could go on and on. But
I agree with you. I just tend to think that, like, you know, I feel like I've just always been on the side of like a nerdy hippie that's into like holistic stuff and like what's good for like your heart and your body and your soul, and I think it's nice to hear, like, you, who you're not, you know, like living in a tree and stuff, talking about this, and you're inside the entertainment world and do have a lot of influence and are talking about things that should be topics of conversation a lot, and is refreshing to hear.
We'll see. Maybe we can make a little bit of change somewhere.
You want to make a tree hut? It could be like J&J's tree hut.
There we go. We'll
go and get some good vibrations. I mean, I joke all the time about, like, opening some hut in like an island. A place of refuge.
Hey, I could see it. You DJing
playing
right there.
a little bit of Jamaican music, being like, "Where's my coconut? Go get me the coconut from the tree."
So where are you looking to take it now? You know, what are you looking to do in this year? You know, I mean, I see a very bright future for you, but I want to know where you're.
I appreciate that, because you told me that when we did our first interview, which was in 2010.
Yeah, man, years ago, maybe.
I think it was
2010.
I think it was 2000. I think it was 2010.
Yeah, it was 2010.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's
4
like a
years
year after I
ago?
got out of school. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It feels like yesterday. You know, Electric Punnany is taking off.
Yeah, I see. Which I will be there. Well, by the time this podcast comes out,
you'll either have missed it or you have been there.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, we actually just got booked for Glastonbury Festival in London.
Congrats.
So,
wow.
you know, we got London coming up, we got Jamaica coming up, we got a Canada tour, and we got Barbados coming up.
Wow.
And that's all this summer. So, the faith that I've always had in, you know, me and Melo's like siblingness and just our artist chemistry and what he's a super hippie. He's vegan, you know. So I always felt like we brought this positive vibe together, and also like truly talented musicians coming together, and our love of dancehall and reggae, but also like the weird stuff that comes in between and around it, and just global unity, and you know, I've always had a lot of faith in Electric Punnany and what it kind of stands for, and now to see it take off in its own right is you know, it's really interesting. So Electric Punnany world touring, and you know, more producing of my travels and my, you know, thoughts on music and culture, and you know, I'm always working on some type of musical thing, and I want to continue that. You know?
And you will. Let these people know, Jazzy, where they can find you on the interwebs, the internets.
Did we just have like a super hippie conversation? I'm like,
I think we did.
Because I'm like, did we? Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all gravy.
There's no rules to this thing.
There's no rules to it. No rules at all. Because I'm thinking of like the conversations you've had with like other people, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, did I even like really share anything about myself? But I think I did.
I know you definitely
I shared
did.
my heart.
You did.
You know what I mean?
You did.
Okay, so JasmineSolano.com, at Jasmine Solano, Twitter, Instagram, and ElectricPunnany.com for me and Melo's crazy adventures around the world. And that's really where you'll find everything.
Okay. Well, you guys heard it. Heard it here first. Electric Punnany is coming to take over the world. Jasmine Solano is coming to take over the world. She's a busy lady, so she has to get out of here. And by the way, you guys already know, Patreon.com, right?
Spend that dollar.
Yes. Go to Patreon.com/Jabari. And if you're enjoying the podcast, if you're enjoying the conversations with these amazing people that I know and have the utmost respect for, then please give a dollar tip. And yeah, we'll talk soon. And Jasmine will be back on the podcast once she has, you know, her next big unveil of whatever she has going on.
My yacht.
Yes. No, but thank you guys so much for listening. And you already know, it's worth its friends.
Peace.